So we're in Photoshop today, and we're going to take this van mock-up and start to extend our logo a little bit to try to create some brand extension to see how it can look like on the vans, just to kind of show the client next steps for the branding process. I'm going to go into Illustrator. I'm going to show you real quickly a little screenshot right now of a website called graphicburger.com, and you can download a lot of great mock-ups just like this one there. So let's pop into Illustrator and let's think about what logo and what theme would work really well here. So I'm thinking definitely the one that would go on a colored background. So I'm thinking purple as the base with maybe an orange stripe, and then maybe placing the logo on top. So let's see how that looks. Anytime you go to mock-ups, you want to look for the one with this red highlight, and you want to double click this area, and we can start to apply it. So let's bring this out. Zoom out here. So this is kind of where that will be applied to the mock-up van. So that's our placeholder. So let's bring in our purple color from Illustrator. I'm just going to cover the whole thing for now. Let's go ahead and bring in just the logo. Kind of see how that looks. And this is a separate window. So I'm going to go ahead and close the window. When I close the window, I'm going to save it, and it's going to automatically populate the van. So I'm going to double click this, make some adjustments, move that over, save. Okay, so it definitely needs a slash of color. It needs a slash of that orange. So let's double click this, and let's add just that. So I'm going to take, copy and paste a square, and grab that orange color. Bring it in, and let's see if we can't make the front of that van orange in color. Let's see what that looks like. And I'm going to take it, there's a little bit of a highlight. See this layer right here? It's a highlight layer. So if I toggle that, I can kind of see that it applies this lighter reflection. I'm just going to reduce the opacity on that so it doesn't dull out the colors as much. So I'm just reducing the opacity. And okay, so that's the van layer underneath. It's a shadow. Okay, I'm going to reduce the opacity on here. This is just me adjusting the different options I have. Okay, great. Okay, let's move this forward. See if we like it. So what do you think? Do you think that competes too much, the orange here and the orange here? I think it does. We're also going to need a phone number as well. Let's move this up. Let's add a little bit of a drop shadow to the logo, but very subtle. So I'm going to reduce the distance and increase the size, and of course decrease the opacity quite a bit. So I think that helps, and a phone number. It's probably the most important thing. So we need to establish a font for that. So let's move up and I'm back in Illustrator. Let's just do kind of a generic phone number. Let's do that'll be area code. Of course, this is the United States. You may have different numbers in other countries, but we'll just do something generic. And we have this, before I outline the text, this was railway. So why don't we go back here, and I know railway has kind of some funky font. So you see how, this is railway, I'm just going to draw a line. Notice how the font, the numbers, when it has numbers, the numbers go below the base height. And the base height is this line that kind of follows below the 8s. That's the baseline. So you see how the 7 and the 4 go below the baseline of the font. It looks kind of funky. So let's try Open Sans, which is a good substitute for railway when you're using, when you're using type. So let's do bold, extra bold. So great. So I can either drag that into Photoshop and I'll lose the editability, or I can just copy the actual live text and create a new layer in Photoshop, and I can keep it live text. So now when I double click, I have my own layer and it's editable. I can go ahead and highlight the orange. Probably going to need a website too. Well, let's just do the phone number for right now. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we're getting there. So I don't really like this part. This might not even be a part of the van. It depends on the van that you'll be doing a wrap for. They call this a wrap, where they print the paint. They don't actually paint it, but they wrap a printed kind of vinyl across the van. But they'll give you a template for that. So this is just kind of a mock-up to kind of do a test. And this little line, or where the windows would go, may not be there. So that's bothering me a little bit. So that's the van there. Shadow. I was wondering if I can delete it somehow, but I might not be able to do that. Let's continue to mess with it. I'm going to double click on this red one. Let's see if we can't. I wonder if I just put it, I like it overlapping a little bit. Let's see how that looks. I do like it overlapping. Of course, you guys may have other ideas and thoughts, but I think this will be what we go with. I could even, ooh, I know, let me do a test. I can even take, let me bring this mock-up is extending this off my, where I'm filming, so I just want to make sure you see it all. I wonder if we take another, just duplicating this purple layer, I'm going to move this on the top. I'm just going to see, what if I created another little diagonal line, and then took this orange layer, duplicated that, and created a different line. I'm not sure if that would be too much or grab the attention that we need. So let's give it a try. Close this down and save it. Yeah, that's too much. So let's go back, no problem. Probably go back in my history. I may need to just go ahead and delete these. I think what we had works. I was just testing things out. There we go. That works. Okay, so there's our van. So this is just a way to kind of test out our logo, to see how it applies, to see how the colors look. We could decide that these colors aren't working, but I think they are. But if they're not working, we can go back and revisit the logo, tweak the colors, and all that. So, but I think the client, it's great for them to kind of see how their logo can look on, not just in isolation, but on other items.